What's up, homies and hoes? It's been another year, and so it's time for another video, another update on the base. So I didn't really work on the base all too much in the past year, even though it looks like it. Mostly it was all done in a few months. I did have to check my previous video that I made just to see what all I had made at that time. But between that video and this video, couldn't really remember what all I had done. But as you can see, I got a floor in here. Well, yeah, I decorated the moss floor. I finished the roof here. Added some openings in the roof so that you can fly in and out easier. So, you know, you can step in these little pools here and launch yourself out. So you can launch yourself out like this. You can get up to the roof this way. Well, this is one of the ways you can get up to the roof. There's also this room in here that I did. It looks pretty okay. You got this little area here, little stairway, then right here, got the little water here so you could launch yourself up from down there. So this is the roof here, got the dome. You got the design, which was, you know, it's wanted to keep it similar to the rest of the base, didn't want it to look too different. Needed to match everything else. Then I also wanted to have a little bit of greenery up here, so just made the little greenery on this spot on all the sides. Didn't really fit anywhere else, I didn't think. And then you got these pools of water here, which are, you know, of course, used to launch yourself out with the trident. So this is a little view of the dome, how it looks. The roof, I'm pretty happy with it. And this is a little closer look at this part of the roof. This part of the roof, I just kind of winged it. Just didn't really plan anything out. Just had an idea of what I want it to look like, and this wasn't it. But what I did want it to look like didn't look good. So, you know, I did this instead, and I think it works. It looks good. Got these pillars, well, not pillars, these little towers here. Pretty happy with them. You know, a lot of points in this build. And then down here, I didn't even know that I didn't have all of these pillars finished for the last video, but they are all done now. And then you got these new pillars out here, which are now housing the beacons. I was so glad to finally get the beacon out of the center of the base and, you know, get 12 more of them to place all around the base. So I got a bigger range now around the base, and the one 2x2 beacon is finally out of the center of the base, because it got really annoying having the beacon right here, and then I would have to like I would have to jump into a glide so I could get into a little 1 block tall opening that was like right here, so I could get down a 1x1 waterfall hole that went down into here. It was a real pain. So yeah, this is a little closer look at the design here. Really happy with how these turned out. I think at the time when I was making these, I wasn't as happy with how they turned out, but Now that it's been like, I don't know, 5 months since I did all this, it looks a lot better than I remember. So yeah, this was one of the big projects that I did in between the last video and this video. Took some time just trial and erroring all of, this roof design, trying to get the roof up here to work with the roof under here, and wanted there to be openings in it so that you could fly out, but then trying to figure out what the design of the opening should be, and should the roof be thicker, thinner, how big should the openings be, because some went through a couple different designs for these openings, and sometimes they were bigger, sometimes they were all connected, but this one just looked the best, I think. Alright, and as we move to the next thing that I worked on, I will say that it has been probably about 4 or 5 months since I worked on anything, since I even opened this world. But the next thing that I worked on is in the Nether. Okay, so this is just a Nether storage. I had a lot of excess like Nether bricks and a lot of excess Nether, well, some Nether wart blocks, some Nether rack, a little bit of that. And I got kind of tired of having to go back and forth between the Nether and the base to offload all this excess stuff or just dump it. So I decided to just make a little base here in the Nether at the entrance to just store all of this stuff. Didn't want it lagging up the base with all the extra chests, so put it here in the Nether. So you might be wondering what I could have needed all this extra space for storage. Why there's so much Nether brick. What a piece of shit. Anyway, so let's see over there, there's some slabs, and yeah, your suspicion would be correct. I did indeed slab the Nether around here. Let's get a good view of this, huh? So, yeah, it's been slabbed. And you can see it's been slabbed in style, no less. A lot of dark prismarine, stone, and sandstone. And I did it in layers, so, the sandstone only goes up to like 30 or 40. And then the stone goes up for 20 levels. And then the dark prismarine goes up for, looks like about 15 or 20 as well. And then there's a 10 block transition period in between the dark prismarine and the regular prismarine. And then it's just regular prismarine all the way up. And boy, was this a pain to do. Of course, it's never easy slabbing the Nether, but especially when you're doing different blocks. And then you can see here, I didn't destroy the fortress, the Nether fortress. Didn't destroy it, I just slabbed it. So I took the roofs off of the place, and then I put slabs down on the edges and on the floors. I did that throughout the entire thing. Well, throughout the entire thing that I needed. See, it stops over here. Or it doesn't stop over here, it stops way over here. But, that was all for this. Which, honestly does, it works pretty good. It's not amazing, but it took a while to finally get it to a point where it was actually usable, where it would actually be doing this, spawning wither skeletons. I mean, like, what you're seeing now is, like, basically the bare minimum it took to get this working properly. There was just always some other random zombie piglin just somewhere in the roof, like up in here, just in some random little spot that I'd have to then go and fly to and re-slab. So here I got the mob hitboxes on, the ESP on, so we could see where things are spawning and see most of these things that are spawning are the striders. But you can see, look at that. That's a zombie piglin. Some random. Look, I missed 2 blocks right here. So we gotta spawn something on there. I missed 1 block here. Gotta spawn something there. I'm telling you, dude, these things spawn on every single. They spawn everywhere but right there, which is like the easiest place to spawn something. Yeah, real pain in the ass to do, but I wanted to do this kind of wither skeleton farm. So I knew what I was getting into. And I had actually planned on doing this slabbing little by little. Like, probably by like, when I had made episode 2, I had already started slabbing this place. But I had just done, like, a little bit of this area here. And, you know, maybe a little bit over here. But then it just started to get to a point where I really needed the wither skulls for getting the beacons, because I got really tired of having to go around the beacons in my base. And I think I needed the beacons for something else. I think I just wanted to have some extras to take around for you know, like a portable one in case I need to destroy an area. Get a little haste 2 going. Yeah, this took a little, quite a while. This is probably about I don't know, like a 300 by 300 square. But I had to slab off. I don't know if it's actually that much. It feels like that much. It's probably more like 200. I don't know. It was a real pain. And then at one point, I started getting it slabbed up enough, and then a bunch of stuff started spawning underground because of the tunnels that I made digging for netherite. You know, the ancient debris. So stuff started spawning down here, and then I had to come down here and slab up some of this. Again, just the bare minimum. Many slabs placed. There were a couple other ideas that I had for how I wanted the slabbing to look. I was thinking about, instead of having the stone here, having the granite instead. But it was just going to be way too much of a hassle to make a granite farm, because then I'd have to make a gold farm so that I can trade with piglins to get quartz, so that I can make I can use the quartz to, and the cobblestone to make the granite, and then I would also need a cobblestone farm. And I'm probably going to need a cobblestone farm anyway, because I'll go back to the base and show you, but I had to dig a lot of stone out of the bottom of the base. Yeah, I started getting stone problems while I was making that. And you can see over here, I just had to start mining a ton of stone. But I was kind of limited in the range that I could mine because my beacon was centered, you know, up here. So I couldn't go too far down because then it just started turning into deep slate right here. And I couldn't go too far out because the beacon wouldn't reach, and then I didn't want to go, well, I couldn't go too far up because then the water level right here is really low, and then the sand would start falling through. And it was a real problem. I almost forgot, but I do now have chickens. It was quite the accomplishment. First and probably only farm animal I will get, because I think it's the only one that's possible to get. I thought before that you could get pigs, sheep, and cows as well if you just place some like grass or something. Maybe they would like naturally spawn on it. But then I checked the wiki, and apparently those animals only spawn in certain biomes on like grass, dirt, and stuff. And a warm ocean biome is not one of the ones that they can spawn on. So I don't think I'm gonna be getting any cows, pigs, or sheep. But the way I got these guys is I had to do some testing because, you know, you can't really find information on this niche stuff on wikis. But I had to first go into a world and speed up the tick rate to see if chicken jockeys will lay eggs. And they will not. But if you breed two chickens of chicken jockeys together, then baby chicken will then be just a regular chicken, and it can drop eggs. So I had to get two chicken jockeys, and by the way, chickens from chicken jockeys despawn if they don't have a rider and you get away from them too far, so I had to name these. So I had to spawn two chicken jockeys, kill the riders, and keep the chickens, bring them over here, breed them, have the baby grow up and lay an egg, and then I could finally start making an egg farm. So I now have infinite eggs and chickens and feathers and, you know, chicken meat and whatever. And the way I grinded out getting a chicken jockey was, oh yeah, I did make this stone. I had to make this stone farm eventually because I was just running out of stone to mine down here. Forgot about this. So to spawn chicken jockeys, because mobs can't spawn anywhere here because everything's lit up in my base and everything else is ocean, what I did was I just took out these torches on this backside, and then I just sat over here, and then I just free cammed over here and just sat about here just watching and waiting for a chicken jockey to spawn. And let me tell you, the spawn rates are insane because since this is the only place where any hostile mobs could spawn. And I was far enough away over there so that none of their AI of the mobs would like wander around too much. They'd be, you know, they'd pretty much just like stand still as soon as they spawned and wouldn't really wander. So a lot of these holes and stuff in here are from creeper explosions of me trying to aggro the chicken jockey so it would come after me, but then I'd have to fight off all the creepers and zombies and skeletons and stuff. You know, just another They're a little pain to have to deal with, but it was worth it, even though I'm almost certainly never going to use the chickens. And then the next project that I was going to work on was fixing up that area over there, the Guardian Farm. So I started expanding the platform. Well, I just, expanded it to... I got the basic shape down of what it's gonna be. I want to redo how these buildings look. And I want to do something down here. Expand how big this is down here and get a proper squid farm going. So yeah, this is going to be the next thing that I work on. Started working on a design for the bottom here, like the exterior of the bottom of like the pillars and what the outside's going to look like. Started working on that for about 30 minutes and haven't touched it since in like 5 months. So I don't know where this place is gonna be in another year, but that's all that's been done in this past year. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the progress, and I'll see you next time.